friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Amanda. So today's video is a virtual Christmas cookie exchange. I've got 3 delicious cookie recipes that I know you're not going to want to miss. So guys, I'm really excited to be sharing these cookie recipes with y'all today. I've got a hot cocoa cookie recipe that was so delicious and so adorable. I just think the whole hot cocoa theme is so fun. And then I've also got a chocolate chip cookie recipe for you that doesn't require like a hand mixer or stand mixer. You can easily do it by hand. And then I've also got a chewy iced molasses cookie that is so delicious, so good. I think you'll really enjoy these recipes. Now this video is also part of a collab. It's a virtual cookie, Christmas cookie exchange collab hosted by Meaghan at My Main Kitchen. I know you'll want to check her channel out. I'll have her channel linked below as well as the entire playlist. I cannot wait to see all the delicious cookie recipes. I just am totally getting into the Christmas mood, and I think starting off with some Christmas cookies is definitely a good choice. So if you're coming over from the collab, welcome. And of course, if you're returning, welcome back. I do all kinds of recipe content, what's for dinners. It's really all about the food here. So if that sounds like something you might like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And also hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. I've got lots of delicious things in store for you, so I know you won't want to miss those. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're excited to get into this video, because I'm excited to share these Christmas cookies with you. But let's go ahead and get into these recipes. So we're going to start off with our chewy iced molasses cookies. And we're going to get started mixing our dry ingredients up. I've got some flour in here. I've also got several seasonings, some baking soda, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, all that good stuff in there to make it all flavorful. And really, I feel like those flavors are really nice and Christmassy too. And we're just going to get that mixed in together well and set that aside and get working on the rest of our ingredients. So we've got some butter and some brown sugar that we're going to cream together. Now this cookie, I saw, it looks so much like the Archway molasses cookies, the ice molasses cookies. Those are like some of my favorite cookies for like, especially this time of year. So I thought it'd be fun to make these. So now once we've got that butter and sugar creamed really well, we're going to add in our molasses and mix that together in well. We're also going to add in our egg here in just a minute and get that incorporated. Then we'll start adding in our dry mixture over there and get that all blended until everything is mixed together well. And then comes what my kids felt was the worst part, was waiting 1 hour for it to chill. They were really excited to try these, and they were not happy that they had to wait an hour before I could even bake them. But that is the one thing about this recipe is, you know, since you are chilling it, make sure that if you are needing it by a certain time or anything like that, you kind of add in that time factor of making sure that you chill it. Because obviously, you know, every recipe, cookie recipe doesn't require to be chilled. But I will say a lot of times I find, even like the chocolate chip cookie recipes that don't say to chill it, I find that the cookies kind of look better when I've chilled it. It just seems to do a lot better, but they work just fine too if you don't. So now y'all let me know in the description box below what your favorite cookie recipes are, especially around the holidays. If you have a cookie that you make every year or another kind of like Christmas treat that you make each year, I'd love to hear what all y'all do for Christmas. This was fun to try. These were all 3 new recipes for us, and these were fun to try some new recipes. We definitely have new favorites because all of these were really good. So now we've got some more, you know, cookie recipes to pull from each year that we want to decide to make cookies. So I was really glad that all these turned out really well. I always try to like read the reviews on any recipe I try, but that is the thing about a new recipe. You never know how it's going to turn out until you make it. And sometimes even little variations between people, you know, they may do a little something different and not really realize, you know, and that type of thing. Because I actually, with this cookie, my cookie did not turn out to be as thick as hers looked in the picture. After kind of thinking, what did I do? Because I thought I might have, used a too small cookie scoop. I definitely used too small cookie scoop because I got like 47 cookies, I think, or something like that, or it was something really high. And I think the recipe was supposed to make like half that, just about. So I think that I used probably about half the size as a cookie scoop. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just scooping out that dough, rolling it between my hands, putting it on the pan, and then we're going to kind of flatten it just a little, not too much. And she said use your palm, but that wasn't working well for me. My fingers worked a lot better than the palm. It kind of just kept sticking to my palm. But we're going to put those in the oven and bake those at 325 degrees for about 12 to 14 minutes. I think mine actually usually got done in about 10, 11, 12, something like that. So keep an eye on them because you don't want them to burn. Also, the recipe does say to let them sit for 10 minutes on the cookie sheet and then move them to a cooling rack. But now we're making our icing for the cookies. So I've just got some powdered sugar in the bowl, as well as some vanilla, and I'm also adding in the milk. I will give you a tip here about adding in like liquid ingredients to a powdered sugar mixture when you're making icing like this. Always start off real slow and continually add it, because I don't know what it is about powdered sugar icing like that, but anytime I've ever gotten it too thin, I cannot thicken it back up. It just will not seem to thicken back up. So it's easier if you just go real slow and then stop when you need to, then try to correct it. It just doesn't seem to work well. At least for me, it hasn't. And then we're just going to top these with the icing and let them kind of sit until the icing kind of dries. I did not ice all of mine because we kind of wanted to try them without icing and with icing and all that. So we ended up leaving several of them, actually the majority of them uniced, because I knew we could just always add more icing if we wanted to later, like make some more icing up. I loved it with the icing. The kids kind of had mixed. Some liked it better without, some liked it better with. So you might want to try one without and then with, and just kind of see what you like best. But y'all, these were so good. And honestly, I didn't mind it being, thinner, and they were still nice and chewy. So I really recommend that recipe. So next up, we have hot cocoa cookies. Y'all, these are the cutest cookies, and they were so delicious. Like, I just think these are such a fun cookie. It would be absolutely fun to make with your kids. So I'm really excited to share this recipe with y'all. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We've got some flour and, of course, like baking soda, baking powder, all that good stuff going in there, as well as some hot cocoa mix. So now, this is an area where you could vary it. They have dark chocolate cocoa mix. They have all kinds. The only kind I had on hand was the one with the marshmallows. So I actually went ahead and sifted the marshmallows out before I used it, and then put that in there so that I could add the marshmallows later, because they go in kind of later. Now in my stand mixer, I've beat the butter for just a little bit to get it kind of light and fluffy, and I'm adding in my white sugar, and then I'm going to add in my brown sugar and just cream the butter and sugar together. Then we'll add in our egg and our vanilla. Now, I made half of this recipe, so that's why that I only used one egg instead of two, and those type of changes. So I definitely, got about 18, I think, cookies for this, and it did say it made 36, so it actually ended up being like a perfect half a recipe. Sometimes I feel like it can always vary, and also it depends on what size scoop you use and that type of thing. But since I had made a total of 3 cookie recipes, I thought cutting this one in half would be a good idea, so that we, don't have so many cookies in the house. Although my kids have been in cookie heaven and thoroughly enjoying homemade cookies, so they were really excited about me making these recipes. Now we're just going to go ahead and add in our dry ingredients. I usually try to add about half and then incorporate that well, and then add in the other half. I feel like that kind of usually helps from just, overloading. It helps get mixed in better and that type of thing. And you just want to mix it just until it's combined and ready to go. You don't want to over mix it and create like a tough cookie and that type of thing. So we're adding in our chocolate chips, which I actually use dark chocolate chunks, and then our marshmallows. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute, because I meant to show you when I put it in here, but the kind of marshmallows I get, but it's like the Kraft marshmallow bits. I actually order them from Target online, and that's been the only place I've really seen them that I can think of. If you have a local Target, most likely they probably have them in the store too. But I always like to get different things from Target online, because we don't have a Target store, which is definitely disappointing. But I'm just scooping these out, probably like using basically like what you'd call is kind of a standard cookie scoop. I feel like it's the one I tend to use anyways. I feel like with most cookies, you know, you can make them a little smaller, a little bigger if you want. So kind of up to you. You just got to watch the baking time. And these bake at 350 degrees for about 9 to 11 minutes is what the recipe said. I think mine took about 9 to 10. So just keep an eye on them. But these are fresh out of the oven here. Y'all, you can see that little melty marshmallow part, and they just look so cute. Now mine turned out lighter than hers. I'm betting she used maybe a darker, like maybe dark chocolate hot cocoa. But these were so good. Like I said, you could vary the cocoa powder that you use or the cocoa mix that you use. And we fixed a nice little cup of hot chocolate there with some whipped cream and a little bit of cinnamon on top. These cookies were so good. I really think you'll enjoy them if you make them. And let me know if you try any of these recipes. So next up we have chocolate chip cookies. So I decided to make these because it actually doesn't require a mixer. And I thought, I've never made chocolate chip cookies that I haven't used like a stand mixer or a hand mixer for. So I wanted to try these out and see how that would work. So in that first bowl, I did my dry ingredients, my flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, all that good stuff. Mix that together well. Now I've got my melted butter and brown sugar and white sugar that I'm going to start mixing together well. Now here's where you do, have to mix a little bit. So you're going to get a little bit of arm work out here, but it's not hard because it's not real thick. But you are going to mix that for 1 to 2 minutes until it kind of turns into like a paste-like consistency. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our vanilla and our egg and get that mixed together also. Now once that's combined, we're going to go ahead and start working in our dry ingredients. We're actually going to switch to a spatula to work in our dry ingredients because you're going to fold it in. It also says in the recipe to leave a few flour streaks and then add the chocolate chips. But once you add the chocolate chips, combine it well to where you don't see any more flour. So I think they're just trying to keep you from like over mixing it. And so once I still had just a little bit of flour looking there, I went ahead and added my chocolate chips in. And I did cut the chocolate chips back. I will say that this called for like 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, and it doesn't make very many cookies. So I cut it down to 2/3 a cup of chocolate chips, and that was perfect for us. So definitely be mindful of that. If you love like a loaded chocolate chip cookie with tons of chocolate chips, you probably want to put the full amount in there. But for us, that was just a little too much. And you could obviously use whatever kind of chip you wanted to use. You could change it up and do some different things. Now these made really large cookies, so they only made, I think I got 10. Yeah, 10 out of this. The recipe said 9 large or 12 regular. They kind of, recommended doing large ones, so that's what I did. Y'all, these were really good. They were so chewy. Like if you love a good chewy chocolate chip cookie, this is the cookie for you. And it was so easy too, so you can't beat that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out Meaghan's channel and the entire playlist. I'll have everything linked in the description box below. I hope you each have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.